This is the Think Podcast for entrepreneurs, business owners, and real estate professionals. Insight, real talk, systems that scale. Think about it. This podcast is brought to you by Genstone Companies. Real estate isn't just a transaction. It's a strategy and long-term investment. We support investors with acquisition, financing, renovation, property management, insurance, and REO execution all in one roof. Navigate your next deal with confidence at genstonecompanies.com.
Thank you for coming to another episode of the Think Podcast. And as we're sitting here highlighting our strategic partner, Genstone, who is really a force multiplier in the market with all of these new amazing verticals that they're doing to really help you guys maximize your real estate investment potential, education, management as a strategic partner for you investors out there. Today, I have a very special guest and a fellow Michigander who is one of my new best friends. I absolutely love her. She's got so much energy. She's great. And that's how the power of the mitten works. But the Senior Vice President of Single Residence Services. I know that's a mouthful and we're going to get in and unpack all of that. But Deanna Alfredo is here from Northern Michigan right now. And I wish I was up there because it looks like it would be fun to be out in the water. And so welcome to the show, Deanna. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me. The weather's okay. It's still a little chilly, but that's Michigan, right?
That's right. Down here in Tampa, it's about 1,000 degrees and 2,000 humidity. So I'm not complaining about that either, but I do miss home.
Yeah, definitely.
One of the things I did a bunch of research, obviously, as we started the series about Genstone and the growth and the kind of the market dominance that you guys have. And for a real estate investor, you guys offer so many different services. And today we're going to talk about what you really benefit your clients for in the single family residence space. And a lot of people think because you guys are so big and so put together that you might be too big for them. And that's not the case at all, right?
Absolutely. I like to look at it this way. Everyone can benefit from seamless partnership. If they can hand off as much administrative work as they can to us, and we're a fluid partner and part of their process. Again, like you said, with Genstone and Genstone Companies as a brand, it can seem daunting because our ecosystem really does touch every part of a real estate transaction. Right. Like when we talk to clients or potential clients, it's sometimes, wait, that was a lot of information. But I like to peel it back and say, what's your biggest problem? Let's start there. Where can we help you? Oftentimes, we talked a little bit about this before the call. Everyone's super focused, and as they should be, as they're acquiring properties, the debt structure, what's the cost to get into it, the potential rental market, their appetite for the rent, and how do they grow their book of business? But they often underestimate the value of what is that system and process around maintenance orchestration in turn times and resident satisfaction, which can lead to retaining that NOI and keeping residents in the property. And even how do you execute? So that's where we can come in and very seamlessly take on a lot of that burden. Some of our most successful clients we've found by partnering with us and having that true partnership where we meet and we talk about, here's the layout. Here's how we're going to partner up. What's your system? What is ours? And what do you need from us? And then we have a cadence of meetings and transparency, communication, those things. Managing vendors is not easy. People have problems. So the more we can give that lift, the better. And that's really our focus and what we're here to do.
And you brought up a good point, right? And the two things I want to touch on. One, in all of my dealings with Genstone, you guys are one of the most approachable companies that I've ever dealt with at scale. There's never been anybody that I've ever dealt with over there, and I shouldn't say dealt with, or I've ever reached out to or had a conversation with that isn't sleeves up, let's get to work, how can I help? Yes. And I love that because there's no, let me transfer you over here and let's talk about this, whatever. Everybody from your team, from the people that answer the phone all the way up to the very top are like, how can I help you? And they mean it, right?
Yes.
I love that about you guys. Secondly, is you've got such a deep Rolodex of vendor contacts. And I'll talk to you as myself right now, as somebody that's owned rental properties and had to manage those and all that. It's a lot sexier on TV, isn't it?
It is. It's sure
People are like, oh, this is a piece of cake. It's not. And so many little nooks and crannies like an English muffin at that. And so talk about some of the benefits, because there's nothing you guys can't handle.
Absolutely.
Some of those partnerships.
Definitely. So we've built a program. I know many people that are my colleagues within Genstone. We've been in the industry for so long. Like you said, I've been around for 22 years. I had my own business here in Michigan. performing maintenance services on foreclosed properties. And when you think about that, and we still have that division of Genstone Field Services, I oversee the single family rentals, and we have this other division. But how we all kind of got started was a bank or an institution needed us to be their eyes and ears on the field, in the field.
Yep.
Whatever was happening, whether it was a water leak, a lock that needed to be changed, we became very adept at putting it together. And that's what had brought that whole mindset to the single family resident services programs we built is we put that vendor network together. We manage the network. We oversee them. That's a lot of moving pieces, people and decisions, but we have a team really focused on that. And I'm going to say this 1,000 times. It's that communication, setting the expectation with that first conversation. And that's really what makes us a nationwide scalable program. And we get that consistency in that relationship because we're always feeding them work. If you're thinking about a guy in a truck who turns on his truck every day, if you don't have to market yourself and you have that good boss supplier of the work orders, you're going to stay hungry. You're going to stay focused and have the lift too of what we have to offer them. So it's just a win-win symbiotic relationship.
And I refer that up oftentimes for you guys because there's a lot of people that you can manage one or two. I think the most that we ever had were problematic. So you get one problem taken care of and then you got two more and there's something else, and all the stuff. And then you might need some kind of a specialty. We had a house with solar panels once, right? I don't know anything about solar, like how to fix a solar panel, right? So I'm like, okay, who do we call on that? I'm sure you guys know 15 people you call, but it is, in my opinion, and I'll say this, I've said it on stage, I've said speaking tours and all the stuff, it is impossible to scale without a partner like you. You can't do it.
Absolutely.
You can't
Absolutely.
do it. Unless you own every house on your street, and then you're never going to be at home anyway, because the toilet's over here on 123 Main. 4 Main's got a garage door opener that doesn't work. It's just all stuff. So how would somebody best work? Because I want people to know the power of what you guys have. They already do, but how do they best work with you? How do they plug in with you guys?
How they plug in with us is really easy, right? If you go on to LinkedIn, any of us business leaders, myself, it's quite simple. It's very streamlined. We're bringing on more and more some of our realtor clients or partners. Our Genstone Realty group is just exploding. We're opening regional offices. The most recent one is in Cincinnati, so it's pretty close to home. And the power of that is having those regional offices. It speaks to every part of our business. But as the realty groups come on board, we're able to support them. And they too, they're busy. They're sometimes have to do repairs to list properties, or even they transition to property management individuals at that point. And we're able to give them just something as simple as, here's the how-to email. Here's the link to register to be a client with us. It collects all that data about what does their portfolio look like? How many doors do they have? What is the market? Who do we talk to for whatever particular item? All the points of contact. And then we even have a little link that says you can place a work order right here.
That's great. So you guys are fully integrated digitally.
Yes. We have to. So when you think about this, let's circle this back. When we think about managing single family rentals in the maintenance world at scale, you have to be innovative with technology. We layer in different bites and pieces of technology to get to our unique platform and offering. We leverage AI for appointment scheduling by not having my team on the phone calling residents who are at work, and they don't have the ability to answer the phone about setting up an appointment, but we can send them a text message via the technology. And then it goes to work with the AI scrubbing our schedule and saying, yeah, that's a good time for us to meet, or this is not a good time for the appointment. We can ask them questions about what's happening in the property. Think about the power of AI saying, I understand you have a leak in your property. That's how a service ticket will come over. A leak could be a pipe, a roof, a gutter. It's coming in from the outside. We just don't know. But if we can ask more questions before we get out there, we can send the correct vendor the first time.
Oh, for sure.
In some cases, we can say, put a bucket under that leak from the roof into your kitchen to prevent damage. And that happens in real time. We can also get photos from the resident that might help us know what appliance you have to send the right appliance vendor, because they don't all service the same models, right? So we're trying to get ahead on how do we get the most information as quickly as we can? How can we be as courteous to the residents as possible and get what we need done and gather the data behind that? There's a lot of data and KPIs and reporting to what we do. So we're doing all those little pieces that make it all come together.
And I wish when we had ours in different states, right, that we had the ability for this type of partnership, because you always had that. I was always the guy that had to know a guy, right? And I'm usually the guy when somebody goes, I know a guy, I'm usually the guy they call. And so then I would be like, I don't know who to call on this, right? And it would
Right.
make it so much easier. I
Right.
don't know if we would have maybe unloaded those properties
Mhm.
because this is the force multiplier that you need to actually make that business not only profitable, but tolerable. It's a good,
Correct.
like you
Correct.
guys, right? What does it cost normally? Because I know that people that are listening to this are going to say, I bet you that's a pretty penny, but it's not, is it? It's
It's
not.
funny. I was on a call yesterday with an investor in Chicago. He's getting ready to buy 16 properties. You probably don't want to talk to me. I'm too small. I said, absolutely, I do.
Yeah.
We have an office in Chicago and
Mhm.
we're very strong in that market. So layering in 16 more doors just makes us even better. And I said to him, yeah, that's no problem. I'm sorry, I forgot the original question.
No, but about the fees on that, right? Because
Yes,
people are going
yes.
to be like,
Oh,
oh, you
yep,
feed to death with
yeah,
some
yeah.
services and you guys don't do that.
Yeah. So it's funny you ask about the fees. I was on the phone
Mhm.
with an investor yesterday. He had 16 properties coming in. And at first he thought he would be too small for us. That's a market we're super strong in, which is exciting. We just keep everyone busy in that market. We have
Sure.
a regional office there. But additionally, so what's the cost? And I said, what do you mean? What's the cost? He said, do you have an onboarding fee? Do you have a monthly management fee? I said, no, we do our services on an invoice basis. You pay us on what's the invoice. And I said, I already know what you're thinking. You're going to think, oh, wow, they're going to charge me a ton of money per
Yeah.
invoice.
It's going to be
You need-
15,000 to swap
Yeah,
a toilet, right?
exactly.
Sure.
No, I said, in fact, it's the opposite. We are, again, using technology. We're using cost estimating tools. We're scrubbing the data at the market level. What is the cost in that market? Chicago is different than Birmingham, Alabama, even on buying a toilet at the Home Depot. There's a little bit of a variance. There's a difference in the labor market. So our pricing comes in, scrubbed through that CE tool, and we figure out how do we make the money on the backside. It's not adding the money to make the money, so to speak, but we're trying to stay consistent with the market. You
Well,
think about today, it's challenging, right?
it is. I think that there's strength in numbers, right? You can
Yeah.
offer that. Folks, I want to repeat what she said to make sure that you guys get it. There's not some monumental, gargantuan $25,000 onboard fee. There's
Correct.
not some every time somebody answers the phone, it's $100, all of the stuff, because there's business models that are set up that way, right?
Right.
They don't fault anybody for the way that they're doing the business because that's the way they have to be profitable in their smaller market. But you guys have such a broad brush deal. You actually can really help them from an invoicing standpoint to get it done,
Right.
especially if somebody owns a property in a market that they're not local to, right? And you can really be that partner to do that. So guys, understand an invoice system. It's not where you guys have to go and donate a kidney to be able to sign up with this awesome
Right.
company.
And think of it this way. I also look at it. If you're an investor, that doesn't mean that you're a licensed builder or you understand every repair. We are the professional where we can vet it out and say, to the best of our knowledge, this is the correct repair. Here's the details within the scope. It's not go fix property, $5,000. It is remove and replace 100 linear feet of gutter, X amount of dollars. So we're very detailed and you always understand what our recommended repair is. And I think there's tons of value in that.
Oh,
We
totally.
leverage our knowledge because if you're in the user chair as an investor, there are people out there every day that will try and rip you off. That's just the way it is.
Unfortunately.
But we do this every day. So our reputation means so much to us and our integrity. And this
Right.
is what we're known for. Leverage us to be your expert and the rest just happens. It's pretty easy.
Well, and it's awesome because like I said, you guys truly are, no matter if it's somebody and some person picks up the phone. I don't mean the stats are random, but I'm just saying that has nothing to do with this.
Yes.
They're going to do everything that they can on that call to get to the fastest answer.
Yep.
And then if they have to direct you, I've never waited more than 3 minutes for a call.
Mhm.
I haven't.
Mhm.
I know people are going to go, yeah, no, folks, I'm not kidding you. It's the truth.
That's true. Something that comes to mind when you say that too is emergency after hours.
Great point. Yeah, about that. Talk about that.
You're talking about Tampa. It's super hot, but how hot is it in Tampa in July?
Brutal.
We're not
Brutal.
going to dice at that, right?
Yeah.
I teach my team that, and we coach our team every day about empathy. These are families and properties. So when an emergency comes through, we have a system for that. We have an after hours number. It goes to a person. Text messages goes to a person. It doesn't hit the call center. We're on it. We know it's important. And just letting the resident know, we're going to take care of you. For them to have
love
that peace of mind,
That is sure.
it goes so far. But again, my team, we talk about residents a lot. Residents, when you're looking to keep the property as a long-term investment, keeping them happy, keeping them satisfied is the key to making money. They're going to give you great Google reviews. They're going to stay in the property. It is their home. I could go on and on about that.
It is, but you said something that fired off something in my mind. And for anybody that's ever owned a rental property, there's a couple of core commonalities that we've all faced. One of those is finding great tenants.
Correct.
And when you have a great tenant, you want to do everything you do to keep a great tenant, right? Because the majority of people that are investing in real estate properties, they have a payment to make. They bought that house and they have to service that in a good number. I don't know if it's a majority, but a solid number of them. That rent is helping to pay that payment.
Correct.
And so if you don't have good tenants and you can't utilize somebody like you guys to really ensure that, there's another downside to that too, right? That's very costly, and it can put you in a bad situation.
And not paying attention to maintenance requests or trying to avoid it can take a good resident and create a bad resident.
Oh, sure.
Quite quickly, or ignoring a slight repair. I know it's costly, but if you ignore it in the long run, it's going to be 3 times the cost, right? It's easy to say it's not so bad right now. If we say, we always try to do what's the most cost effective and makes sense for the problem. If we say we can patch a roof, we can patch a roof. But if we say we have to replace the roof, there's a lot of validity to that.
There's a reason for it,
right? Yes. Yeah. So don't repair the whole roof, and then you have water damage inside. And before you know it, you're doing interior repairs that you didn't even have on your budget for that year.
And I had several people that knew you were going to be on today, and everybody asked the same question, right? No, I know. And this isn't a gotcha thing or anything, but they wanted to get your opinion. 2 parts. One, what is the biggest challenge facing the rental market? Investors starting to really, really ramp and explode in a good way. So they wanted to know what the biggest challenge was that you see facing people trying to scale right now to add more properties, because if you're in that business, that's what you do, is you always want to have more doors, right? And the second question was your best piece of advice to the newbie wanting to get into this business. So it's a 2-part. One, they wanted to get your expertise on if you had any $64,000 gem to drop on somebody. And then the other one is, what are you seeing a lot of right now that's problematic for people?
Definitely. When you think about scaling and growing, I'm a total operations nerd. You can look at my LinkedIn profile. It says I'm an operations junkie, but I am. Every day I'm looking about how do we get more efficient? How do we do things better? If you are looking to scale and your process doesn't support that, if you're going scattered site and your process is scattered, your result will be the same. So my biggest nugget of knowledge is, as you grow, you have to think about, how am I going to grow? And how do I support that? Because if you grow too fast and you don't have the legs to support it, that's where you just kind of crash and burn.
You get over your skis, right? Sure.
Yes, exactly. One of the biggest challenges in today's marketplace is, for all of us, probably the cost of filling up our gas tank. Getting for a vendor to turn on their truck and leave their house and go to a property, or what the rising cost of materials. A lot of our clients, how do we get around that is, what can we do at that first visit? How can we communicate? How can we have trust at that first visit? A lot of our clients give us what's called an NTE, not to exceed. That means you have $300 when you go there. If you can go and you can fix that door for $300 and we can get it done, good. We can go. We have pictures to support that. We have the scope that says what we did. We have a breakdown of what we did. And just because there's $300, that doesn't mean everything is $300. At the end of the day, we're not eating up that amount, but we're getting the most out of that money. So the more that we can do the first time we're there, we can call from site and say, this HVAC unit is just not working. It needs a new control board. The more we can do while we're there versus that guy going home.
Yeah.
It's more expensive to come back the second time. So
Sure
that
is.
goes to process though too, right? So I think my question fed back to the first solution.
I think it does. You're just doing all the right stuff, right? Because
We're trying real hard.
I think one of the embraceables about your company is that you guys are back to old school basics, but you're still utilizing, I think, the address and the way that you do things is from an old school basics kind of standpoint, but you also embraced and be able to maximize the AI component, like you talked about from a tech perspective, to make it really attractive for that. And you're not overcharging.
Correct.
It is what it is, right?
Correct.
And you're actually saving them money because you're doing it the right way. Versus, there's some property management companies out there. They'll be like, why don't you go ahead and pepper your account with, or search fill your account, put 10,000 on a retainer and we'll let you know.
Miscellaneous crazy fees.
Right. And then people are like, I didn't think it's $1,600. Yeah, it is.
Right.
Now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not a $25,000 thing where anybody would be like, no way, but it's, you don't nickel and dime people. I love that, because with all of your new not new verticals, but the combining new structure of the operation stack, there's nothing you guys can't touch. I would have to think, if I had a tree house, you're like, yeah, no, we can do tree house.
We do tree houses.
Yeah, we can work it out. Has it got carpet in it? Okay, we'll figure out a way to clean the carpet.
What kind of siding do you want?
It is, right? And it's just old school Midwestern awesomeness, say it, right?
Yeah.
We're up on time here, but I want everybody listening, I want you to know I was not paid to say this. It's the truth. They are as approachable as you can imagine. It's like going down to the corner store. Everybody has the same type of mentality, and you love working with them. Jen, how, again, because in case anybody's driving their car or whatever, they want to write this down, what is the best way to reach out to you guys? Because I know there's people that have listened to this today. They're like, I didn't even know. Absolutely. Who do I call? How do I get hold of them? Right.
There's a couple ways. We have our website, Genstone Field Services, spelled just like it sounds.com. And we have a contact us page on there. And that referral usually comes to me for the company, and I filter through those. You can look me up on LinkedIn. It's my name, Deanna Alfredo. Send me a message. I get a lot of traction there. You could go old school and Google us and call us if you want to do that. But yes, definitely everything that we've talked about today, we have pride in the fact that we are approachable. We're big, but we have that boutique mindset where every client matters. While we provide the same service for all of our clients, they all want it a little different way. My team's trained to log into 17 different technologies every day. Wow. But at the end of the day, it's about what's going to move the needle for you. How do you want to operate? Our basics are going to be the same, but just how we get there might be a little bit different.
I think it's awesome. I can't say enough good stuff about you guys. I really, honestly.
Well, we appreciate it.
Absolutely. And the series has been fun. You learn stuff every day. And I've been doing this 27 years. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's a really good way to look at that. So kudos and bravo to you guys. So
thank you.
It's awesome. So yeah, and she will. I reached out to her on LinkedIn myself, and she answered. You got back to me in 2 seconds. So it was great. So
we try to.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you so much for coming on today. We'll see you guys next time as we continue this. We've got some financial guys and stuff like that from Genstone coming up that are going to shed some light on really how to be smart with your money. So look for that. And thank you, Deanna. We'll be in touch for sure.
Thank you for having me. It's been great.
Thank you.